Germany is expected to impose tough conditions on Albania for opening negotiations, such as reform of the electoral code, a functioning justice system, and greater progress in the fight against corruption. Chancellor Angela Merkel said Germany supports the opening of Albania's negotiations with the EU, noting that despite difficulties and challenges, countries in the region have made significant progress. The EU ambassador to Albania, Luigi Soreca, appealed to the political parties to begin dialogue on electoral reform as a way of providing a means to resolve the local political crisis. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 13th of September 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to RTV Ora's English edition. My name is Alexandra, bringing you the only daily update of the local Albanian news translated into English. Making headlines this evening, Germany is expected to block Albania's EU aspirations by setting strong preconditions for the opening of negotiations in October. German media, which have seen a draft decision that Bundestag MPs will vote on September 27, report that prerequisites will be electoral reform and the functioning of the justice system. For the ruling CDU-CSU coalition and the Social Democrats, the links between politics and the world of crime also remain a problem. For this reason, negotiation chapters will be required to be opened if significant progress has previously been made in the fight against corruption and organised crime at all levels, and if prosecution of suspected judges and prosecutors continues. The importance of these barriers for the Albanian executive, according to media affiliated with the currently ruling German Social Democratic Party, are so high that they can delay the negotiation process with Brussels for several years. In an interview with German state-run media Deutsche Welle, Christian Democratic MP Günther Kriegbaum defended the idea that Albania and North Macedonia deserve the opening of the EU accession negotiations in October. According to him, Skopje's politics are seen with a better eye than Tirana's. What I can say is that in the German parliament, in the Bundestag, the opinion for North Macedonia is very good, very positive. Countries have to be evaluated on their own advances on the so-called principle of merit. To me, it is clear that the separation of the two countries can take place, but in the end, it could also happen that the talks start at the same time for both countries, stated Kriegbaum. On the other hand, the Netherlands and France remain reserved, even opposed to opening negotiations with the two Balkan states in October. Two Dutch MEPs from the Liberal Party for Freedom and Democracy raised concerns on Thursday about irregular Albanian emigration in a request to the European Commission. Two MEPs, Malik Asmani and Caroline Nagdekal, said many Albanian nationals were constantly trying to cross into the United Kingdom illegally and in violation of the free movement regime. According to them, the Albanian government is not doing enough with awareness-raising campaigns on television or in print media against illegal immigration. The German Bundestag will decide at the end of September whether or not to say yes to Albania for opening negotiations with the European Union. Prime Minister Edi Rama is currently in Berlin, where he has met with representatives of the Bundestag and also had a meeting with the German Chancellor, Angela Merkel, during the day. The meeting was held today at the Federal Chancellery and its talks focused on bilateral relations as well as European policy and regional issues. The press release makes it clear that Rama has not received a promise to open negotiations. At the end of September, the Bundestag will decide whether Chancellor Angela Merkel will agree to open negotiations with Albania at the EU summit in mid-October. Germany backed Albania's accession to NATO in 2009 and supports Balkan state accession to the European Union. The Chancellor acknowledged that despite continued political difficulties, there has been significant progress across the region. Germany has a strong interest in contributing to stability, democracy and Albania by supporting the transformation process, it is written on their official page. Electoral reform should be the starting point of a dialogue between the opposition and the majority in order to resolve the political crisis. This appeal was made by the European Union Ambassador Luigi Soreca to the local political parties, stressing that sitting at a political dialogue table would also help the opening of negotiations. You know, we have asked all parties to get involved in the dialogue and to participate in the dialogue. We have done this some time ago and there have been numerous calls for dialogue. Let me say that the dialogue should start from something specific, and this may be the electoral reform, which is very important and necessary as it would bring a very important thing for Albanians. This should be done in a fair way and with international standards. The opening of negotiations would also be helped through such dialogue, said Zoreka. The EU ambassador hopes for a positive decision to open negotiations. We are confident that additional motivation will be given to Albanian institutions. The opening of negotiations will not be the end, but the beginning of a process that will move us forward, said Zoreka. The head of the European Union delegation made these statements after the signing of the financial agreement IPA 2018, which provides for the allocation of €94 million, 42 million of which are only for justice reform. The lack of coordination between institutions and the delay in returning answers has caused the vetting process within the police ranks to drag on. There are at least 3 institutions that, according to the head of the External Evaluation Commission, have created delays in processing of evaluating senior police executives. Currently, the Commission is in talks with the National Registering Business Centre on signing an agreement that will promptly process the response. We are awaiting answers from the General Prosecution Office, and that is preventing us from finalising an investigation. If we talk about institutions where we have difficulty reading the information that comes to us, this has led us to a second phase of seeking information from these institutions and is mainly related to institutions such as the State Intelligence Service, said Kapai. Although the law on vetting has been amended twice, the designated fund is not sufficient, and there are shortages in external commission staff. No support staff have been provided for our day-to-day administrative tasks. This is one of the shortages we have felt during this time, said Kapai. Kapai also spoke on another issue, that is the dismissal of commissioners and the one-year deadline set for the closure of the first phase with senior police officers. The work of the External Evaluation Commission has been underway since February, and the first enunciations of police officers have started at this institution. The Minister of Infrastructure has cancelled the tender for the construction of the Karditch-Delvin Road, although the government considered it to be one of their 5 most important construction projects. The decision comes after a number of accusations and questions raised over the application process. Earlier, RTV Ora learned from sources that Minister Belinda Baluku has disqualified 5 companies from the race, thus enabling the IRCOP entity to have the winning bid. Given this, Joka Construction, one of the companies who applied, appealed their disqualification to the Public Procurement Commission, who overturned the decision, adding them back into the race and bringing the number of offers on the table to 2. However, it seems Minister Baluku has found a solution in the cancellation of the tender and the postponement of the realisation of this project. The limited fund available for this road segment under construction is €23 million. The Karditch-Delvin Road is 34 kilometres long and its cost is estimated to be €64 million. Meanwhile, it is considered one of the most important roads for tourism in the country as it cuts travel time from Tirana to Saranda by 3 hours. For the first time, a 10,000 lek banknote will be launched in Albania in 2020. The new 10,000 lek banknote series will feature the portrait of the well-known poet Azren, the lyrics of the national anthem, and will bear the red colour of the national flag. The director of the issue department at the Bank of Albania has explained that this will be the last and largest cut to be put into circulation. Meanwhile, at the end of September, a new series of 200 and 500 lek banknotes will also be launched. The Director of Issuance at the Bank of Albania has explained that the existing banknotes will continue to be legal tender alongside the new ones. The new series of banknotes is produced by international companies. The Bank of Albania has set up a display at their premises of the new collection of banknotes to allow interested citizens to inspect them closely prior to being put into circulation. For 6 days, the Marubi Film Academy will be reinvigorated as the favoured cinemas for citizens. From Monday the 16th of September until the 21st of September 2019, the 14th edition of the International Film Festival on Human Rights in Albania will take place. Kujtim Chashku, the director of the film festival, said that this edition of the festival will include premiering films that have been censored in the country they derive from. This year, the activity comes with a sharp theme that will focus on ignorance kills. The president of the International Film Festival for Human Rights in Albania, Mr. Robert Wilton, also a contributor to the event, emphasised that this topic is essential in today's world. In the 14th edition of the festival, hundreds of applications have been assessed and 44 productions from around the world have been selected for screening. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of RTV Ora, thank you and good night.